Hello and welcome back to 50/50 Day. My name is Sawyer Steele and I'm a co-creator of 50/50 Day, and we are super excited to have here with us Dom Brassy, who is joining live from a stage in New York, correct?
Yeah, I'm in New York.
What event are you there for?
The event is Tech Jobs Tour. It's a career fair to bring non-traditional and underrepresented talent into the tech ecosystem.
Woohoo! Awesome.
Yeah.
So Dom Brassy is the Vice President of Growth at Lesbians Who Tech and Tech Up. She's a veteran of fashion startup Saint Harridan and also served as a gender-nonconforming menswear model. Awesome. Previously, she was a web producer for Title IX Sports and a web specialist at the Tides Foundation. Brassy also won first place at the 2016 All-Woman Hackathon. So you're pretty amazing in all sorts of ways. And what is your world like right now? What are you, so Lesbians Who Tech and Allies, is that what it's called? Lesbians Who Tech and Allies? So tell us.
Yeah, we always throw the allies on there. So like right now, Lesbians Who Tech is seeing this gigantic amount of change in the tech world. Like tech is eating the universe, it's eating the economy, jobs are becoming tech jobs. And so what we're trying to do is leverage all of the feminism and the intersectional feminism and the sort of multi-dimensional analysis that the people in our community have, being queer, being gender nonconforming or female. We're trying to take all of the perspectives that we have in our LGBTQ community and take our culture and sort of inject it into an industry that needs it so much in order to equalize opportunity and influence, because the people who are in technology now are building the tools that will shape our life, and those tools are, you know, fraught with like power and process, and we need to make sure that women and gender nonconforming people are coding in those applications and building those products, because those products reflect the world that we live in.
Absolutely. And what are all the different skills that you're combining with this group to bring into that? What are you seeing? What are the intersections between what the tech industry needs and what the queer community and women are bringing to it?
Good question. What we see is a really high level of accountability in our community around diversity, around ethnic diversity and identity, and people seeing each other and like shutting up when we need to and listening to each other and like hearing truths that are really hard. And being in diversity is not like a numbers thing. It's not like, oh, you know, we're like 6% Black and like 20% Latino and 50% women and gender nonconforming. Like, it's a numbers thing. We like quotas because they force people to look at their reality in terms of numbers. But what we see in terms of accountability is a lot about being real about what our experiences are and making space for people with disabilities in tech and people who come out of the armed services trying to transition into the civilian workforce. Like, there's actually a really deep dialogue that LGBTQ communities are generally really good at, because we look at each other. And to the lesbians, people say, what's up with Lesbians Who Tech? Like, where is the trans representation in that? Like, where am I welcome? And they say like generationally, I see fewer and fewer people even identifying as a lesbian. So in our community, that's stuff we talk about every day. You know, can I bring my dog to your event? Like, is there an option for gluten-free and sober people? Like, the accountability is so high in LGBTQ culture because, like, you know, we're like, what is up with white gay men? And you know, like this event, like, how can you organize an inclusive event when your leadership structure looks like this? These are conversations that we have in the LGBTQ community all the time. And so what we're trying to do is say to tech, like, if you really are looking to bring women and diverse people who are actually good at living diversity as a culture and as a way of relating to one another, people from the Lesbians Who Tech community are really who you're looking for. Our engineers, our product managers, our coders, the people who will come onto your team and sort of be able to participate in a healthy and inclusive and productive and real relational culture.
And so I'm going to take a wild guess and say, when you got into this industry, you did not have that sort of network around you.
That's right. This organization started as 40 women drinking in a room, like, being like, oh my God, like, what is my life? And Leanne Pittsford, who's the CEO and founder of Lesbians Who Tech, started it in 2014 thinking, this isn't going to succeed. Like, we don't have enough people. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 people. And then all these people kept showing up. And she said, well, let's throw a summit. Let's do a big event to bring everybody together. And 600 people showed up. The next year is 1,200. And now in 2017, we're 25,000 queer women and our allies worldwide in this organization. And we support our people to like be out and be visible and like live in their identity and lead from their experience instead of have it be this separate and side thing, because we really celebrate our leaders and we want to support people to have the maximum influence that they can as women, as queer people, and as technologists.
And how has your personal experience within the tech industry changed since this has all happened over the last few years?
You know, it's so much easier to do things when you have a network. It's easier to, you know, to find courage and lead. It's easier to organize things when you have people to call. Like it's easier to find resources and make progress and do work when you have people that you know are behind you. And Lesbians Who Tech is, like, we use the word lesbian because it's easy for people to understand who are like not in the community, you know, like our would-be allies are people that we want to bring into the fold. Like
it's almost coming back into fashion now, I think.
You think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
I'm into that. But the community is multi-generational. It's multi-geographic. Like a lot of people don't use the word queer. But like our job is to create the universe that like I wish that I had when I had come into the industry. Like, you know, like all this stuff about feminism, like you can't watch porn on your computer at work because it makes people really uncomfortable. In fact, it's a form of harassment. You know, like that kind of stuff. When you don't have any women in the industry, you know, and you have like booth babes and like people dancing on tables at conventions, it is so disrespectful and so excluding. And it's such a surprise to people who live like steeped in a monoculture. It's really revolutionary for them. And so we're like, great, pay us, hire us, meet up.
So what do you think are the main barriers that are still in front of you?
There's still the things about feminism that are hard are things like looking at a leader and listening to a leader and recognizing female and feminine characteristics and still believing that those are leadership qualities. Like in a way, it's this beast of the way that masculinity has dominated our mainstream culture and our understanding of what leadership looks like. Those barriers are still there, but the more of our people we have leading in creative ways and speaking from experiences that are different, the more audible we are, the more visible we are, and the more influential we are. People will start to have new templates for seeing the way that technology can work and the way that the creative and the energetic community can work together to build things that you wouldn't have expected if you didn't open your mind.
Well, in technology, that's beautiful. And technology is at the core of obviously so many things, but that you're creating a network that is fueling the technology, but the technology is also fueling the networks. So you're in this constant flow of being in the center of it, and there needs to be more leadership roles. And so are you seeing, with all of that in play, are people getting to the leadership level in the industry?
We're seeing it. And even before you get into the leadership level though, like you need to stay in the industry. You need to, you know, not defect. And I say you need to, not because I can determine what's really right for other people in terms of their choices, but if we collectively can create a culture that is safe and supportive and inclusive for the best and most diverse of our talent, we'll be able to retain the brightest and most creative and innovative. We'll be able to retain great people and great engineers, and then they'll be able to rise to leadership. Like you need both. Like first of all, just like, what can we do to support people who are doing the work that they're doing? If they're a user experience person, if they're a beginning engineer, like first retain people. And then, yes, we've been seeing like Tara Bunch, the vice president of Apple, spoke at our last event. I mean, we have had extraordinary people who are out and who are lesbian or queer identified and who are really proud to be part of this community and willing to show up for this community because it's so special. Like it's not just women, it's not just queer folks. It is like queer folks, women, and like the big 10 of the LGBTQ.
So what's your hope? What do you hope to see in 10 years?
You want to go deep?
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, when you have feminist leadership, what you have is economic inclusion, ecological balance. You have a sustainable economy in terms of people and work and capital. And you have equal leadership and equal influence at really high levels. You know, who is building the products that shape the world, and what are the priorities that shape those products? So in a very ideal world, like we have a lot of sustainability and inclusion, and we're very creative, and we're able to sort of harness all of the human ingenuity that any kind of culture, no matter if it's sexism or racism or ableism or transphobia or whatever, like any of these things that sort of mute or otherwise turn off this incredible talent. Like a feminist third wave, futuristic, inclusive, diverse leadership movement doesn't quash talent. It helps it be realized, and that benefits us all.
It sure does. Well, that was a pretty awesome place to end. A nice wrap. You are a true leader in this. I'm just so impressed and honored that you joined us today and that you're doing this work. And I have so many people that I'm going to go around and talk about this. And either they're going to be like, of course, I'm already part of it, or it's going to change. So I'm very excited.
5,000 strong. Well, right on. Our next event in New York is in September on the 7th through the 9th, and that's our New York Summit. Our February summit in San Francisco is going to be at the end of February. And tonight in New York City, if you're in New York City tonight, we're at Le Poisson Rouge, LPR, the bar on Bleecker Street. Come by at 5 p.m.
Everybody hear that? All right. Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. We did go over by 1 minute, so we're going
to Congratulations.
Great day. Have a great event. Thanks again. I'm excited to meet you in person. We're in San Francisco.
Right on.
Okay.
Bye.